You're listening to this week's episode of the Vacation Rental Business in Today's World podcast. You're about to start transforming your business and life with the information found here. We interview some of the greatest and most influential minds in the vacation short-term rental industry and supporting businesses. The information found here is a combination of brain science, transformational thinking, safety and loss prevention, and vacation short-term rental knowledge and experiences, all rolled into one to help you and your business to achieve levels you never thought possible. I am glad you are here, and now please welcome your host, Eric Thibodeau.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Safer VRs podcast. I hope you're doing well. Last week, I had the opportunity to attend the VRMA, the Vacation Rental Manager Association Spring Forum in Chicago. It was a great conference, 2 days packed with a lot of activities, meeting up with a lot of great property managers and vendors. And I really enjoyed myself, learned a lot. And I also had the opportunity to speak at an Ask the Expert panel table at the end of Monday afternoon. They had a room full of Ask the Expert questions. And so I was super excited to lead a table discussion on the topic they had proposed for me was to proactively manage safety to prevent major incidents in your vacation rental business or property. So I thought it was a really interesting topic. And I was really excited to be able to present that. Showed up early, got there, and like I said, there was a room full of experts. And as attendees came in and started looking around, I was at the table, and I decided, okay, I'm going to see how many people come by and stop by the table. And so, as we're going through this, 31 people stopped by the table, read the topic on the sign, it's right there, and then moved on. However, there were two vacation rental managers that stopped by, and I wanted to just briefly talk about the highlights from what we reviewed. So the first vacation rental manager stopped by, and he was like in a rush and kind of nervous and said, "Hey, I got this situation." He said, "We've been not necessarily managing some of the activities around safety. We've been doing checklists and different things. However," he said, "we had a guest checking out last week or a couple of weeks ago. It was early in the morning, and there was an uneven walking surface there. And that guest tripped and I believe broke their arm or twisted their ankle. And basically, the guest left, traveled home, and then reported the incident to the property manager. They went out and looked and said, hey, there's good lighting here," which is that's some of the things that we find is that how well is our lighting, how good is our lighting in entryways and walkways to and from the property, whether it's in the front, going to the garage, going to the driveway, going out back, because what is there is tripping hazards. So tripping hazards are probably the number one cause of serious injuries and could be fatalities. But tripping incidents in themselves, whether you trip and fall to the ground, or you're struck by, or you're struck against something, these tend to be something that these type of incidents show up a lot. And walking, working surfaces, along with stairs and different walkways, create these concerns, right? And so this vacation rental manager is in litigation. He's turned it over to his insurance company, but this could potentially be a six-figure. We talked about the number. I'm just going to say a six-figure loss case for his business, right? And we talked about how to manage the situation. So when we as vacation rental managers, me as a safety professional, I work and I want us to work proactively to take care of all of these type of issues that may arise and basically cause potential harm to our guests or our owners or our employees or ourselves. And these are the type of things we want to work at. However, when a situation occurs, we now have to switch to being reactive, where we now have to manage the case. It could be where you manage the injury of your employee and taking care of them as they go to the hospital, and then finding a replacement person, making sure they're taken care of. Same thing with guests, right? Same thing with owners. This case management, it even gets deeper if you have a fire or even a fatality. So now we switch into this reactive mode, and that's where this vacation rental manager was. He was in a reactive mode in dealing with the this particular loss case, and we talked about how are some of the things to manage with that. Certainly, he's working with his insurance company and their attorney to best handle that situation. However, he did say we went back and corrected the deficiency in the sidewalk, in the walkway. And that's the right thing to do, right? We want to address that case, that situation. And then once again, we need a system to look at all of our properties. I can inspect this property and I can need to fix the issues, right? One of the things that's probably the worst thing to do is, we go out and we inspect our properties, which is a great thing. However, we document those inspections so that later we can then, hopefully, the intention is to create an action to address the deficiency in a timely manner. But please know when you are doing these checklists, right, you need a system to follow up, right, and look systemically at how am I doing with addressing actions, and does this show up quite often in my properties? How many tripping hazards on walkways do I have? How many poor lighting issues do I have? Do I have a one-off issue, or do I have a systemic issue? Do I have an owner who made a change and didn't tell me they did something? Now I have to look at this, right? Second thing, also very important, is we are documenting these gaps, right? So in the event of this case, we could have a documented history of, here's a tripping hazard, I didn't correct it. For how many months did this go on? How many potential guests go through this and not be injured or be injured? And so it creates a tool that helps us. It also creates a tool that if we don't be proactive and follow up and address the issue, we've documented that we've created deficiency, we've identified a deficiency, and we're not addressing it. And that puts us at additional potential legal liability there. So, I really appreciate, the VRM in this first case stopped by, and he is now engaging to be more proactive. And, I think that's great. My message for everyone on this, looking at this first VRM case, is let's not wait for an accident to say, hey, I really need to get engaged with this, right? Let's take a look at it now. Okay. Let's look at the safety and loss prevention and how we manage it. So the second VRM stopped by, and he and his team were not actively managing safety in their business. So we want to talk about what could they do. So we began to have a discussion about where they would start, what they would look at in their particular properties and in their business, and what were they doing? How are they going to start inspecting, working with the owners, correcting deficiencies, tracking these particular issues, and then getting them fixed, and then making sure they don't come back. So this was a lot of our focus, and we were going to now, this VRM was going to be proactive. He didn't wait till an incident occurred. He saw and said, hey, I want to understand how to do this now. So we talked about it in good length. Then we also talked about what are some other issues that are out there that, for example, how are you working with your employees about driving? They did not have company vehicles. However, if you did, your driving safety for your employees and your business. I think there's two parts there. One is your employees, right? Everything goes back to people first. The people, the guests, our owners, the public. In this case, if you had driving safety, and he said they weren't doing anything, he said the employees were driving their own vehicles, and so what kind of vehicles did they have, right? And reason we talk about that is that in today's world, employees are critical in running our businesses, and for them to be injured would be a loss for them and their family, and then for our business. And could driving safety, defensive driving help? That's the first part. Second is if you are in a company vehicle and you have not um, had a program where your vehicles are inspected prior to use, or they're on some type of preventive maintenance program, or you have not um, taught whether it's through a program and helped your employees who are driving these vehicles, making sure they had the right driver's license for them, and they went through defensive driving as well. So some of this is about, it's all about protecting your business and your employees, really. I mean, from a potential loss. And while you do spend money, it's kind of like changing the oil in your car, right? I change the car. Well, I take it to the shop. I don't change oil in my car myself anymore. However, we take it to the shop, and whatever it is, 3,000, 5,000, 8,000, 10,000, based on your car, you get the oil change. Now, you do that to maintain the vehicle. It's the same in safety and loss prevention in your business, right? You're taking the defensive posture to protect your business, right? I could run my car for 15, 20,000 miles. It would probably cause some damage to the vehicle, more than likely, based upon how I'm driving and how long it's been, right? So that's that. Do I want to do that and risk that in my vehicle? So I say no. So I take preventive maintenance. I take actions proactively to safeguard my car. Same thing with my business and driving safety, right? I take action to provide defensive driving to my employees, for my employees, and we don't have company vehicles right now. However, this is something that we want to do. It's preventing, taking proactive steps to either eliminate or reduce liability in your business. So, so this VRM now, the second one is engaged, and I'm hoping that uh, he will take that and begin to take action before something occurs. And I wish really both VRMs the best. I really appreciate them stopping by, and having a chat. So two different situations here. An incident revealed a gap with the first one. The second one was curious about what they needed to start working on to be proactive. And in those cases, the second one you can really move forward, because now that second VRM can take positive action. The first one can take action after the fact, but also has to spend resources, time, and effort to defend, a potential lawsuit. So once again, I appreciate them having a discussion. I was glad I was able to help them, and hope I can continue to do that as we go on. But here's another part as we leave the tale of the two VRMs here. 6% of the people stop by to talk about safety and loss prevention and being proactive in their business. So 2 out of 31. Now, there was a lot of really good topics to talk about, you know. Um, However, I do believe that there is more to this here, and that in our identity of who we are, we don't always think about safety in our business. We believe it's something that happens and it's there. It's not intuitive, and that we tend to be reactionary as individuals and probably in our businesses. And this is something I believe we need to take a look at and say, and how are we being proactive in our businesses? We don't need to let incidents occur before we say, okay, now I got it. All right. I brought up the case before, and about, every industry has these moments where they go through these uh, situations, or in this case, we had COVID that kind of changed a lot of things in how we operate as a business. However, every industry, particularly in its infancy and as it's growing, when you look back in time, um, from a loss prevention standpoint, every industry has some defining incident that says, okay, you can't operate this way anymore. Okay. And I don't know what it could be. Certainly, there's been incidents at Texas City with BP. There was Texas City ship fire and explosion. There were numerous fires in different type of buildings and different types of industry, from apparel to manufacturing. However, when you go back and look throughout history, every industry has a defining incident that says the people in the world say this is not acceptable anymore. We don't need to incur this in our business as the vacation rental industry, and we need to be proactive. So, as I part for today, how are you managing safety and loss prevention with your property if you're an individual owner or as a property manager? This is really safeguarding your business. It's like a shield, helping to keep potential issues, financial impact, reputational impacts away from your business. And when they do occur, can they be minimized so that it's not a serious blow to your business? I would look forward to hearing your feedback, and let me know if I can be a safety and loss prevention resource and support your business. I'm at www.safervrs.com. Also, my Facebook group, Safer Vacation Rentals, and you can find me on LinkedIn. I want you to please create a safe day, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Safer VR's podcast with Eric Thibodeau. If you enjoy this, I would love you to join my Facebook group, The Safer Vacation Rentals, for more of the same. You can also join our email list at www.safervrs.com.